Hello Stampers, Merry Christmas. This is going to post on Christmas morning, and so happy holidays to all of you and your families. And here's to a much better 2021. What I have for you today is my December 2020 paper pumpkin alternatives. I have 5 cards for you, and I could have made lots more, except given the holidays, I've sort of run out of time. So let's just get started. Okay, so this is the paper pumpkin. It's called Berry Comforting, December 2020. And what is in this kit is the material to make these cards. And they're just as cute as they can be. Hooray, it says, and there's 2 koala bears with a cupcake between the 2 of them. It says, "You're on my mind," a bear, and he's holding a bunch of flowers. And this one says, "Get well soon." It's a little raccoon. And the materials in this kit are really pretty, kind of fun to work with. And so that's what it's meant to make. And the coordinating colors are basic gray, calypso coral, cinnamon cider, daffodil delight, rich raspberry, soft seafoam, and white. And you can see they made a few alternatives themselves here, doing different kinds of things with the bears and the animals. I only use the animals for one for mine. Let me tell you about what comes in the kit. This is the stamp set. Let me just pull that out and then pull out some of the material, and then I can put it on here so you can see it. So with this one comes this little stamp set, and it's got this cute little bear. And it's got this, it's like a leaf pattern that matches the pattern on some of the cardstock. And then it's got "Get well soon," "You are on my mind," "Hooray," and then this bunch of flowers. And this paper and material this time is really pretty. These are the cardstock pieces. There's one more. Let me grab one of those. There's the envelopes. Cardstock, there's 3 different cardstocks with this. This one, which is in soft seafoam and has gold accents on it, is really pretty. And it's got shades of the rich raspberry running through it, and the ink spot this time is a rich raspberry ink spot, and there's a whole page of dimensionals, and then these 2 cardstocks, which are the same, and then this one that's got the striped material. This is the envelope, and the envelope has some of the other colors and the material on the inside. It's got the daffodil delight and the calypso coral and the rich raspberry, and then this soft seafoam color on the envelope. So those are the basic materials. Then there are tags and all kinds of things. These are the tags that come with it this time. There's circle tags and 2 different sizes of longer tags with a gold detail on it. Then you get plenty of these little critters. I think there are 4 or 5 pages of them. There's a lot of them. Then there's 1 page of these, and they have these presents, the little flowers, the cupcakes, and then some real pretty hearts. And as you can see, I've already taken apart some of my envelopes here. And let's see, then the other pieces that are in here are some pieces like, I think maybe that might be it. No, there are pieces that are like this, and they are just like the outside of this card base without the gold highlights. Then you have circles that have the gold highlights in them that have that same pattern. And then these pieces that punch out that make these rectangles that have that same sort of material on it with the gold that comes on this paper. And like I said, dimensionals, and then and I think those are all of the pieces. So what you can see, I have quite a bit of material left over, and I'll show you what I did to make my cards for this kit. This was the first card that I made, and I took this card base here and I cut this off, and then I cut it from end to end so that I could get two pieces that I could do this with. And that way I could put my message on one side and some decorations on it and get two cards made out of this and still have this whole panel to fool around with. So I think I can turn that into 3, maybe 4 cards. Same thing with this one. And I'll show you how I cut that one a little bit differently. But this is the first one I made, and this just screamed Happy Valentine's with this pretty little heart. So I put a bouquet of flowers, the heart, and I used a couple of stamp sets to build out my cards. I did all of the bases in Whisper White, the regular A2 8.5 by 5.5 scored and folded at 4 1/4. And I used this Valentine's set from last year that's in the annual catalog. And I used the Happy Valentine. And then one other one I used here, You Make Me Happy. And then I used this little heart down here as a stamp. Then I used in Here's a Card, I used Happy Birthday and Congratulations, and I think those are the only ones I used from there. In the stamp set itself, I used the Get Well, these little leaves, and these flowers. And this one would be a fun one to use too. You're on My Mind. For lots of people, that would be a good one during this time frame that we're going through. So this was my card, and on the inside I used a piece of the other side of this card when I cut it in half and just put that strip down there, and then I went ahead and stamped those 3 little hearts there. I thought that was perfect in the Calypso Coral. So that is card number 1. The second card I made was a birthday card, and I did that same thing. I took this piece and I cut it, and instead of cutting it corner to corner, I went down. It looks like about 1 1/4 inches up from either side, and then down 1 1/4 inches from this side, and then cut it across. And that gave me a little different kind of fold. And with the piece that was left over from here, I cut a tiny little strip because I wanted to use the Calypso Coral, and I wanted to use this present. But I didn't have any other real Calypso Coral using just this card piece. So I put that little piece of trim on the edge of the purple, and then I used the laser cut pieces, the cupcake and the present, and then did those 2 hearts in Calypso Coral and Rich Razzleberry. And there's my Happy Birthday from Here's a Card. Now on the inside of this one, I did that same thing. I used a piece of paper from the back side of this card front. So it would be a piece of paper from here. And I put this on, and then I used our new oval punch, and I just punched out an oval that had some of that leaf detail in the gold, and that way it brought a little bit of this pattern the inside. And then this is where I used that stamp, which almost looks like leaves, and I just put a little burst of that on either side, and I thought it made the inside of the card a little bit more interesting that way. So there's my birthday card, so card number 2. Then I made one here that is a Get Well Soon, and what I did here was I used one of the envelopes to get my piece of green, and then I used more of this piece that I cut off here, and made my frame there more of a piece of envelope. And you know, this bottom piece might actually be the back side of this card. Might be. And then this part was the envelope. I think that's the way it went. Then I used one of those punch out circles, and I put a heart and some of the flowers and a get well soon here. And then on the inside, I went ahead and used some of this striped ribbon from one of these card fronts on the purple. And then I used one of their labels. There's nothing that says that in the label has to be words. So I stamped the little flower inside and put that on the inside. And then I used my marker to very carefully, and you do have to be very careful because this ink is just regular ink, and so it'll smear if you wet it and start moving around. So I was very careful to put a little bit of the green on those leaves in there. But that is card number 3, Get Well Soon. And I really like this color combination. In fact, I liked all of the color combinations this time. And I'm not sure I would have put them together. Now this configuration here, again, I used my punch and punched out my Get Well Soon, and then used this to cut out some of this for the paper so that it carried the theme all the way through. And I'm really pleased with the way that that one came out. Then I did go ahead and make one using the bear. I thought he was so cute, and I do have an opportunity now that I have a grandson to send a card. And this one, I used the rest of this card front here and the back side of another one of these green for the background. Then another piece of this that was left. I was very frugal, and I got most of these pieces out of one card back. And actually, no, this one was this label that came this way. And then I put the bear in the middle, and the only thing I did to the bear was his face looked a little faded to me, so I gave him some eyelashes, and I went around the detail on his face, and I pinked up his tongue. And instead of putting flowers, I put the heart here, and it says, "You make me happy." And on the inside, I had a couple of strips left over from cutting down these pieces, and so I just put them diagonally on here, and then put a piece of that laser cut paper, and I did that on this one too. That's a piece of the laser cut leaves. So that one is card number 4. And then the last one, I used the whole card front, just cut it down to 4 by 5 1/4. I put congratulations on one of the labels that they supplied, and then I put 2 of the flowers here and embossed those in gold. I thought that that really made kind of a pretty little card. And on the inside, I did the same thing. I had to cut this down a little bit to fit on here, so I cut off, put it on the inside, and did one more embossing of those flowers, and that was my card number 5. So there are my alternatives to the paper pumpkin this time, and that is my project for the day. Thank you so much for joining me today on my YouTube channel. I do so appreciate it, and like I said, I hope you have a wonderful holiday doing what we can. Ours is very scaled back, and lots of Zoom calls with family. So that's kind of what we're doing. See, this is still December for a few more days, and I'm doing a giveaway with each of the videos that I'm doing this month, because you have pushed me over 21,000 subscribers. So the prize for this one is going to be a set of these cards that I make. I'll do 2 sets. One for somebody who's a new subscriber. If you let me know you've subscribed, you get 1 set of cards. And if you are a subscriber and you share the video, then there will be a second prize of another set of 5 cards. And I thought this would make kind of a fun little set of cards to have on hand. So that is my prize for this one. And my prize for the month of December is a $60 shopping spree on me. And how you get yourself into the drawing for that prize is to put an order of any size on my store, lbedinger.stampinup.net, and you can get to it through my blog, www.ingenuity.com. There is a terrific offer in January for those of you that are considering joining Stampin' Up, even if it's just for the discounts. And I've been contacted by a few people and would love to add to my team. So if you're thinking about it, it's the regular join offer, which is $125 worth of product for $99, plus 5 designer series paper packs, one for each of the color families, and then one for each of the in colors. So it's a heck of a deal. That is the offer. And so that's it for me. I'll be back soon with more cards, more tips, and more projects. Bye!